Hey everyone, welcome back to TCG Bros. Today we're going to be doing an update on my previous Sylvan deck profile, and the format is at a really strange time right now, so a lot of decks that were not so great are starting to be able to be a little bit more playable now. But anyway, before we get into the deck profile, just want to say that if you're new to the channel, please subscribe for more YuGiOh content, and I'm going to be going over this deck a lot faster than I did my previous update of it. But then after the end, like I said in the first time I updated this, I'll go over a little bit more of combos and my favorite plays with the deck, that kind of thing. So, start with main. We have 3 Martial Leaf. A lot of people don't play 3 Martial Leaf, but level 3s are really good this format, and it just serves as a good card all around in this deck. Some people run 2. I think 3 is better, but you can run 2. 3 Sage Koya. This card works great from the hand, just a basic thing, level 7s. 3 Hermitry. Most people will not play 3 Hermitry because if you get 2 in the hand, you're more than likely going to lose, but it's part of the strategy behind this deck. You have to be, this is a risky deck that's more skill involved, so you might as well go for glory. 2 Princess Sprout. These help you make Xyz very quickly as well as Synchro. Like, you can make it up to level 8, so you can basically go into anything with Princess Sprout in this deck, Synchro-wise. 2 Komoshrumo. Pop back row. Serves as a target for Blaster, which is later on in this deck. And also, if you just set it in defense, it gives you a good excavation. So, 2 Linefire Blossom. This deck ever goes higher, you'll always run as many copies of this as possible. Pretty German ones here. Sadly not super. Eventually I will max rarity this. 2 Curry Bandit. Just a good card all around. You can run 3, but I think for this variant 2 is alright. I know back when Sylvan was at its prime, a lot of people were running 3, but I think 2 is sufficient now. 1 Sylvan Cherub Sprout. 1 Spore, 1 Glow Up Bulb, and 1 Blaster, which you just banish. This is basically when you're going for game. You just banish 2 Komoshrumo or 1 Komoshrumo, maybe a Hermitry or something. But you have to use Blaster at the right time, or you'll more than likely lose yourself a game. And then this. This is where my profile gets to be a little bit different than most other people's. So let me explain this before I go on to further explain the spells and traps. With Sylvan, the thing is, you're not going to run a lot of traps. You run a lot of monsters for just like for excavation effects, and then you run the rest majority spells, because normally the way it is between 20 to 24 monsters, and the rest are all spells with maybe 2 or 3 traps. And the problem you have with Sylvan also is, sometimes on occasion you'll get a hand that is very unplayable. Now, normally you'll watch old videos of people dueling with the Sylvan deck, and you'll notice that they just pass and they have nothing in the hand to protect them whatsoever. They have no back row because Sylvan doesn't run back row. This kind of solves as a scapegoat to this problem. So, you can use either one of these cards. I would recommend using a pair, not one of each. Use either 2 Gores or either 2 Swordsmen. And right now, I'm going to say my personal pick would be going for 2 Swordsmen. Because this card's effect, you'll have to just read it like off of an app or something, but this card's effect is really good for overlaying, and Gores is really good for synchroing with because of the token effects. So, this is something you have to choose for yourself, but it gives you a scapegoat to when you have those bricked hands. And normally it's just long enough to be able to make your move and stall your opponent out, which is a big battle with Sylvan. And by running either 2 or 3 of each one, or like if you run 3 Swordsmen or 2 Gores and 1 Swordsman, or just a pair of one of these, you'll be really good set for if you get a bad hand. And more than likely, if you don't have a hand that's playable, you'll have one of these. So this is something I would highly recommend at least testing out in the deck to see what you think. So, back into spells. 3 Sylvan Charity. Just a basic thing, you have to run 3 Sylvan Charity. This enables so much power in the deck. 3 Miracle Fertilizer. This is because Soul Charge is at 1 now, so 3 of these is really necessary. And at the same time, the ruling with this card is really good, because if you have 2 of those on the field and you bring out 2 Sages from the grave, if you overlay with them and detach, both stay on the field. Miracle Fertilizer doesn't leave. Rank Up Magic, the 7th one. If you read this effect, combine it with Sylvan Charity, you'll figure out how that works. Really effective. Never play Sylvans without that card. 1 Soul Charge. If this comes to 2 or 3, run 2 or 3. Best card for Sylvan. Mount Sylvania. Oh, excuse me. 2 Mount Sylvania. That makes more sense. 1 Terraforming to search those out. 1 Regeki. 1 Snatch Steal. Because this card is unbanned, it's kind of a thing I would recommend playing in every deck, but Sylvan especially, this makes it really good because you have power cards, so it gives you a serious potential to OTK. Like especially if you Sylvan Charity into this with a big board on your side, you'll more than likely win the game. So 2 MST, just because this format there's a lot of back row, and if you come up against decks that don't play a lot of back row, like Shadal or like Neckcloth, Necros, whatever you want to call it, you can side these out for more things like Swordsman and whatnot, or just into some other back row for yourself. And then 2 Breakthrough Skill. Before we go into the extra deck, some other things I want to say that are good considerations for your deck is obviously Gores, like I had said, but also these cards. Royal Decree, really good to side in with Sylvan, obviously against Cliffort and stuff like that. You're really heavy back row contender. And Forbidden Lance just protects your bigger monsters. So those are things I had tested with before and didn't really like in my variant, but something that may be of value to you guys when you're testing a little bit different version of this. Extra deck for the Sylvans. Beautiful extra deck in this case. We have our Star Eater, just because level 11. It's just something you need to play. 1 Leo. Stardust Dragon. Black Rose Dragon. 1 C107. The only way you can get into C107 is by Rank Up Magic, the 7th one, which you'll figure out very quickly is the MVP of this deck by far. It has won me many games, but also you can win with this deck very easily if you play it correctly, and you don't really need this card. It's just a bonus. 107 to overlay into or get into via Rank Up Magic, the 7th one, before that card. Divine Dragon Knight Felgrand. 1 Gimmick Puppet Giant Grinder. This card just works really well against the disease monsters your opponent has. It just has a great effect in my opinion. 1 of this, Prime Photon Dragon. I apologize, I actually forget the name of this in English because this one is French, but anyway. I don't really use the effect of this card. I just use it as a beater pretty much because at 4,000 attack, it's very hard for someone to get over this card without Honest. And if you get Honested, like, make sure you don't use this card if you have a chance of being Honested, because you would obviously more than likely lose. But, good card for 4,000 attack. It just serves as something really hard for people to get over attack-wise. 1 Hieratic Sun Dragon Overlord. If you have somebody with a full board and you put this down, you'll win the game. Like, if you play that right and toss everything. 1 Mechaphan Beast Draco Sack. 1 Aurea, the Sylvan High Arbiter. Best combo in this deck, my personal favorite combo. Exist for this, discard Tree from the hand, then you can read the rest of this effect and see how powerful that combo is. Number 11, Big Eye. Steal your opponent's stuff, because Konami apparently wants you to do that this format more than ever. Ghost Trick Alucard. And Wind Up Zen Mains, which is just good because it can't be targeted and people try to run into it and you just blow up their stuff with it for free. So, just a good card all around. So anyway, a little bit different than the last deck profile on Sylvan's I filmed. But anyway, I'd like to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions on it. And if you have anything different in your Sylvan builds that you think is a good option, please let me know and I will consider it for the next time around. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed. And if you're new, like I said, please subscribe for more Yu-Gi-Oh videos. And I'll see you guys later.